Namaskar. Welcome to EPG Pathshala program. I am Dr. Mithilesh Nayan Bhatt, Assistant Professor of Law at Sardar Patel University of Police Security and Criminal Justice, Jodhpur. The today's module name is Role of Educational Institution, NGOs and Media in Crime Prevention. Now, what are the learning outcome of this module? First, to make the learners understand the various concepts of crime prevention, then to make the learners understand various methods of crime prevention, and third one is to make the learners understand the role of academic institution, NGOs and media in crime prevention. Now, to start with the introduction, the concept of crime is essentially concerned with the social order. Truly speaking, there is no society without the problem of crime and criminals. The conducts which are prohibited by the existing law at given time and place are known as wrongful acts or crimes. The wrongdoer committing crime is punished for the law of this guilt under the law of the land. Urbanization, modernization, industrialization, advancement of science and technology, growth of civilization and advent of materialism have led to the upward trend in increase in crime and the change in the nature of crimes. Modern crimes like white collar crimes, organized crimes, cyber crimes and terrorism have emerged as huge challenges in the present day society. Such contemporary crimes will require a holistic approach of crime prevention involving all the stakeholders. Crime and crime prevention. Now, crime prevention has become an increasingly important component of many national strategies on public safety and security. The concept of prevention is grounded in the notion that crime and victimization are driven by many causal or underlying factors. These are the result of a wide range of factors and circumstances that influences the lives of individuals and families as they grow up and of local environment and the situation and opportunities that facilitate victimization and offending. Determining what factors are associated with different types of crime can lead to the development of a set of strategies and programs to change those factors and prevent or reduce the incidence of those crimes. Crime prevention is the attempt to reduce and deter crime and criminals. It is applied specifically to efforts made by government to reduce crime, enforce the law and the maintain criminal justice. The perspective of starting point of crime reduction is people, places or situations already known for criminal activity. Crime reduction starts with the assessing the current problem and developing strategies to decrease the amount of criminal activity or minimize the harm it causes. The definition of crime reduction is the attempt to reduce victimization and to deter crime and criminals. It is applied specifically to efforts made by the police or citizens to reduce crime, enforce the law and maintain criminal justice. Simply stated, an individual by avoiding areas that are well known for high criminal activity is reducing their chances for victimization and in turn is taking an active role in crime reduction. Now, the first one is role of educational institution in crime prevention. India is a young country and more than 55% of Indian population is under 25 years of age and majority of these youngsters are associated with academic institution through formal and informal educational system. Certain programs are designed to involve and empower students to prevent violence. It is obvious that crime and violence are linked. Crime prevention programs encourages youth to learn where they are safe in their schools and communities, safety awareness related to addiction, eve teasing, civic responsibility in crime reporting and why it is important to have rules and laws. Students are encouraged to coordinate and participate in service projects that aid in the prevention of crime. For example, painting over a graffiti ridden area, with messages of peace and high safety, high school students teaching middle or elementary students the crime prevention lesson plans, or even advocating to their school board councils for more crime or violence prevention programs. Schools have a great potential as a locus for crime prevention. They provide regular access to students throughout the developmental years and perhaps the only consistent access to large numbers of the most crime prone young children in the early school years. They are staffed with individuals paid to help youth develop as healthy, happy, productive citizens, and the community usually supports school efforts to socialize youth. Many of the precursors of delinquent behavior are school related and therefore likely to be amenable to change through school based intervention. School based prevention programs include intervention to prevent a variety of forms of problem behavior, including theft, violence, illegal acts of aggression, alcohol or other drug use, rebellion behavior, antisocial behavior, aggressive behavior, defiance or authority, and disrespect for others. These different forms of delinquent behavior are highly correlated and share common cause. The focus on non-crime program outcomes is entirely appropriate given the young ages of many of the targeted students. Different outcomes have different saliencies for different age groups. Positive program effects on reading skills for 6-year-olds may be as important in terms of later crime prevented as reducing marijuana use for 16 years old. The building school capacity, setting norms for behavior, rule setting, managing classes, regrouping students, and NCC, NSS and Scout and Guides are categories of school-based prevention programs focusing on altering school or classroom environment. Now first is building school capacity. Intervention to change the decision-making processes or authority structures to enhance the general capacity of the school. These interventions often involves teams of staff and sometimes parents, students and community members engaged in planning and carrying out activities to improve the school. They often diagnose school problems, formulate school goals and objectives design, potential solution, monitor progress and evaluate the efforts. Activities aimed at enhancing the administrative capability of the school by increasing communication and cooperation among members of the school community is also included. Second, setting norms for behavior rule setting. School-wide efforts to redefine norms for behavior and signal appropriate behavior through the use of rules. It includes activities such as newsletters, posters, ceremonies during which students declare their intention to remain drug-free and displays a symbol of appropriate behavior. The category also includes efforts to establish or clarify school rules or discipline codes and mechanism for the enforcement of school rules. The next is managing classes. Using instructional method designed to increase student engagement in the learning processes and hence increase their academic performance and bonding to the school like cooperative learning techniques and experiential learning strategies and classroom organization and management strategies. The latter include activities to establish and enforce classroom rules, use of rewards and punishment, management of time to reduce downtime strategies for grouping students within the class and use of external resources such as parents, volunteers, police officers or professional consultant as instructor or aides. Next one is regrouping students. Reorganizing classes or grades to create smaller units, continuing interaction or different mixes of students or to provide greater flexibility in instructions. It includes changes to school schedule, for example, block scheduling, scheduling more periods in the day, changes in the lengths of instructional periods, adoption of school within school or smaller arrangements, tracking in classes by ability, achievement efforts or conduct, formation of grade level houses or terms and decreasing class size. Alternative school for disruptive youth are also included in this category. In many countries and states, human rights clubs have been set up to aware the students and teachers regarding rights of the children and prevention of crime against children, including corporal punishment. Now next is NSS, NCC and Scout and Guides. The importance of crime prevention needs included in the young minds as part of the activities of the NSS, NCC, Scouts and Guides. Involvement in these activities will inculcate a sense of civic responsibility and discipline. This would enable them to take part in community crime prevention programs. Now, the second important role of civil society in crime prevention. Non-governmental organizations can play a vital role in nipping social crime in the bud. They should step in where the police are unable to take charge. For the prevention of crime, government cannot prevent crime and victimization or develop safe society without the participation and involvement of citizens. It is an aspect of good governance. The guidelines emphasizes the contribution that can made by private citizens, community organization, non-governmental organization, the private sector and the business community. All of these are civil society actors that should be involved in all stages of the development, planning and implementation of policies. They can offer in-depth knowledge and creative insight based on their experience and innovative responses to problems. The Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific identify 8 major characteristics like good governance, it is participatory, it is concession oriented, it is accountable, it is transparent, it is responsive, it is effective, efficient, it is equitable and inclusive, and it follows the rule of law. Not all the communities or community organizations have the time or funds to play an active role, however, and many will benefit from capacity building and training programs adapted to their needs. Government need to be willing to engage with them as partners so that they can take an active part in consultation, advisory groups and decision making. Governments need to develop a good system of communication with communities and to make information and data on crime and related issues available for them. For a number of regions, non-governmental organizations are a major resource for national or local government in developing prevention strategies. They often have specialist expertise in a specific area such as police ethics, street children or rehabilitation services. They work closely with the citizens on the ground as advocates for and providers of service such as women's shelters or legal advice services, and they tend to be trusted by local communities because of their non-governmental status. Non-governmental organizations are often flexible and evolving and have the ability to launch new programs and pilot projects relatively quickly with government if resources are made available. They can also help governments in building the foundation for new policies. They usually have contact with a variety of groups including a key community members, victims and professional officials and media personnel working on specific issues. Non-governmental organizations and other civil society sectors can contribute at different stages of the development of strategies, for example, by sharing and creating knowledge and offering expert advice to government or the police in the defense and analysis of crime problems, especially in terms of vulnerable population or specific issues, by assisting in the design and implementation of projects, by helping to identify key stakeholders in a community or city, and by playing a key role in coalition building and collaboration across communities which can lead to multi-agency cooperation by helping to develop, identify and disseminate good practice, then by developing public education, organizing public forum to raise awareness, or mobilizing local population on a specific issue such as gun laws or urban development. Through training and capacity building, for example, by developing or running training programs for local city staff or municipal police, citizen leadership, youth leadership, and skill training and development, support for families. Next, by helping to develop citizens audits, evaluation tools and programs, indicators of crime and the external evaluation of programs. Further, by providing tools for police monitoring and evaluation through training and collaboration in working with the media, disseminating success stories, and then by promoting conflict resolution and mediation mechanism, and by acting as mediator in inter-community conflicts, a function which often cannot be performed by the government. Then cultural and religious groups also have an important role in crime prevention by indulging youth or members of society by enlarge into activities which are positive and enrich with moral temperament. The third important role of media in crime prevention. The media is a prime source of information on crime and safety for a significant proportion of the world's population. The processing of media information on crime is based on short-term, fast-paced and surface-level research which can limit the types of information disseminated and disregarded crucial issues. News reports of crime read like a police blotter of information including on the offender, place of crime and victim with little devoted to the context of how offending or victimization occurs. In addition, the media's rapid analysis and assessment of crime trend and outcomes of the implementation of public policies at the local level can hinder effective and successful prevention. Crime prevention practitioners emphasize the importance of prevention strategies which are characterized by long-term action and based on solid diagnosis that takes into account the complexity of the causes of crime and their interaction. Therefore, news reporting of crime is not conducive to these approaches. Media exposure to crime and crime-related events can be an effective crime prevention strategy and useful tool for sensitizing and educating the public on underestimate or overlooked social problems. Several campaigns on human trafficking, victim support, mobilization for women's safety, and child sexual abuse cases have all contributed as successful crime prevention initiatives which have promoted improvements in the quality of facts and disseminate of information. The media can help to improve the state of violence and crime in society, especially for women and children. Media coverage of violence against women began taking force in the 1970s. Such coverage has led to heightened social awareness, policy for protection of women and girls after adoption of SIDA, expansion of social services for female victim support, and rise in the number of reported cases. The media equally participates in the disseminating public information on self-protection and safety strategies against crime. Due to the impressive amount of individuals who rely on the media for crime information, the media can therefore be highly efficient for denouncing certain types of crime. Media campaigns on prevention against residential burglary and information on the risk of using illegal drugs and alcohol exemplify the means by which the media can have an important role in crime prevention. The media can play a democratic role when it comes to the question of crime prevention. With more information being made public, the media educates the population on certain issues which therefore encourages critical thinking on the part of the population and promotes responsibility on the parts of institutions, agencies, organizations, and the government. The media can help promote civic journalism, which foster responsibility on the part of the media to provide reliable information and engage in positive crime prevention initiative. Now, to conclude, there is no one approach that is optimal, but a careful strategy will balance and utilize a range of approaches which can respond to specific problem of crime and victimization in both the short and long term. Such a strategy will respond to the needs of all sectors of the society in a way that does not increase the social or economic exclusion of particular group and will promote respect for the rule of law. The recommended direction for school-based prevention towards multifaceted, longer-term and broader-reaching programs embedded in school capacity building activities presents a challenge to researchers and policymakers alike because user friendliness of program is related to the fidelity of their implementation. More complex programs are more likely to be watered down or reinvented by school staff. Many local organizations bring specialist knowledge about local problem, awareness of the concerns of their local community and the trust of those residents. This helps to create the condition for sustaining projects beyond their initial phase and to increase the capacity and willingness of community members to take on projects in partnership with the government. Similarly, private sector organizations have begun to act as members of local communities who contribute actively to local initiatives. As the media continues to be a socializing agent, discussing the complex links and relation between the media and crime prevention and urban safety is important for government, private and public sectors and communities. Media literacy education also deserves more attention as it can help encourage and inform the ways future generation interact and make use of the media in crime prevention and urban safety efforts. Thank you.